Some thefts change the course of history. In 2009, a Chinese military officer walked into a McDonald's in San Francisco. He ordered a Big Mac, sat down near the window, and opened his laptop. For the next 3 hours, he appeared to be just another customer checking emails. But he wasn't. He was downloading terabytes of classified data from Lockheed Martin's servers, blueprints for the F-35 fighter jet, America's most advanced stealth aircraft. The cost to develop the F-35? $1.7 trillion. The cost for China to steal it? $0. By 2011, China unveiled the J-20, a stealth fighter that looked suspiciously identical to the F-35. Pentagon analysts were shocked, not because China had built a stealth fighter, but because they did it in 5 years, a process that took America 15 years. Christian Brose watched this unfold from his Senate office, and he realized something terrifying. China wasn't trying to match America's military. They were trying to make it obsolete. The pattern, every American advantage, systematically neutralized. When Brose started analyzing classified intelligence reports in 2011, he noticed a disturbing pattern. Every time America developed a new military technology, China developed a counter-weapon within years. Let's break it down. America's strength. Aircraft carriers. For 80 years, aircraft carriers have been the symbol of American power. 11 supercarriers, more than the rest of the world combined. Each carrier costs $13 billion and carries 90 aircraft. They can project power anywhere on Earth. China's response, DF-21, D carrier killer. Missile range, 1,500 kilometers. America's carriers must stay 1,000 plus kilometers from shore. Speed. Mach 10, impossible to intercept with current systems. Cost, $10 million per missile versus $13 billion carrier. Result, China can sink a carrier with a weapon that costs 0.07% of the carrier's value. Brose's assessment, we spent $13 billion on a floating target. America's strength, air superiority. The U.S. has dominated the skies since World War II. F-15, F-16, F-22, the best fighter jets in history. American pilots train for 200-plus hours per year. No adversary has shot down a U.S. aircraft in air combat since 1991. China's response, S-400 anti-aircraft system, bought from Russia, plus HQ-9 domestic system range, 400 kilometers, covers entire Taiwan Strait, can track 100 targets simultaneously. Result, American jets can't enter Chinese airspace without being shot down. But China didn't stop there. They built J-20 stealth fighters, stolen F-35 designs, and are now developing AI-piloted drones that can outmaneuver human pilots. Brose's assessment, our pilots are still the best in the world, but the future of air combat doesn't need pilots. America's strength, GPS and satellite networks. American precision warfare depends on GPS. Every bomb, missile, drone, all guided by satellites. The Gulf War proved it. GPS turns dumb weapons into smart weapons. China's response, anti-satellite weapons, ASAT, 2007. China destroys one of its own satellites with a missile, demonstration of capability, 2023. China has tested laser systems that can blind satellites. Result, in a war, China can knock out GPS in the first hours. Without GPS, American bombs can't hit targets. Drones lose navigation, ships can't coordinate. America's precision advantage disappears. Brose's assessment, we built a military that depends on space. China built weapons to take space away. The pattern is clear. Asymmetric warfare. China didn't try to build 11 aircraft carriers. They built carrier killer missiles. China didn't try to match America's Air Force. They built a wall of anti-aircraft systems. China didn't try to launch more satellites. They built weapons to destroy satellites. This is called asymmetric warfare. You don't fight your enemy's strengths. You exploit their dependencies. And America's biggest dependency? Distance. American military power depends on projecting force across 6,000 miles of Pacific Ocean. Carriers, jets, bases in Japan, Okinawa, Guam, everything is designed to fight far from home. China's strategy? Make distance irrelevant. Hypersonic missiles travel at Mach 5 to 10. They can hit Guam in 10 minutes. They can hit Hawaii in 30 minutes. By the time America mobilizes, the first battle is already over. The Heist. How China stole the keys to America's arsenal. But how did China develop all these technologies so fast? The answer is uncomfortable. They didn't invent most of them. They stole them. Case Study 1. The F-35 Theft, 2009 to 2014. In 2014, the Pentagon discovered that Chinese hackers had penetrated Lockheed Martin's servers for 5 years. They stole radar designs, engine specifications, stealth coding formulas, software source code. Total damage estimate, $600 billion in R&D stolen. When confronted, China denied everything. Then, in 2011, they unveiled the J-20. Pentagon engineers looked at the photos and said, "That's our design." Case Study 2. The Huawei Backdoor. In 2012, U.S. intelligence warned that Huawei, Chinese telecom giant, was installing backdoors in networking equipment sold to American companies and military contractors. What's a backdoor? A hidden access point that allows remote spying. Huawei routers were everywhere, in universities, defense contractors, even some government buildings. And every device was potentially sending data back to Beijing. Result: in 2019, the U.S. banned Huawei from 5G networks. But by then, China had already mapped American infrastructure. Brose's assessment: they didn't need to invade. They were already inside our networks. Case Study 3. The Academic Pipeline. China runs a program called 1,000 Talents. They recruit Chinese scientists working in America to share research. How it works: Chinese graduate student studies at MIT. U.S. government funds the research. After graduation, China offers them $500,000 plus to return home. They bring all their research, including classified work, back to China. FBI estimate: over 1,000 scientists have been recruited this way. Famous case: Charles Lieber, Harvard chemistry professor, was arrested in 2020 for secretly working for China while receiving U.S. defense funding. Brose's assessment: we're training our future adversaries and paying for it. The question everyone asks: why didn't we stop them? When Brose presented this evidence to senators, the most common question was, why didn't the Pentagon stop this? His answer shocked them: because stopping it would hurt profits. Here's the uncomfortable truth: defense contractors lobbied against security companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon. They all have partnerships with Chinese manufacturers. Why? Because Chinese labor is cheaper. Example: F-35 parts were being manufactured in China. Yes, you read that right. America's most advanced fighter jet had Chinese-made components. When Congress tried to ban this, defense contractors lobbied heavily, arguing it would increase costs and delay production. Result: profits won, security lost. The revolving door problem. Here's how the system works. A general retires from the Pentagon. He's immediately hired by a defense contractor. Salary: $500,000 plus per year. He lobbies his former Pentagon colleagues to buy more weapons. Pentagon approves contracts worth billions. Nobody wants to rock the boat because everyone's waiting for their turn at the revolving door. Brose saw this firsthand. When he warned about Chinese espionage, senior Pentagon officials told him, "We know, but changing the system would be too disruptive." McCain's office. Brose presents a 50-page report titled, "The Erosion of American Military Advantage." The report's conclusion: if we don't change course in the next 5 years, China will achieve military parity by 2025. By 2030, they may surpass us. McCain read it. His face went pale. He called a meeting with the Secretary of Defense. The Secretary's response: "We appreciate your concerns, but the 2018 budget has already been finalized. We'll consider this for 2019. 2019 came. Same response. Budget already finalized. 2020 came. McCain died, and Brose's last ally was gone. That's when he decided to quit and write the book, because he realized the system was designed to resist change. Enter the hypersonic nightmare. If carrier-killer missiles weren't enough, China developed something even more terrifying: hypersonic glide vehicles, HGVS. What are hypersonic missiles? Speed: Mach 5 to 10, 3,800 to 7,600 miles per hour. Flight path: unpredictable, they can maneuver mid-flight. Detection time: less than 5 minutes from launch to impact U.S. defense capability. 0. We have no system that can intercept them. Why are they unstoppable? Traditional missiles fly in a predictable arc. Radars can track them. Interceptors can shoot them down. Hypersonic missiles glide through the atmosphere at low altitude. Radars can't track them until it's too late. And they maneuver unpredictably. So even if you see them coming, you can't calculate where they'll be. China's hypersonic test, July 2021. In July 2021, China tested a hypersonic missile that circled the entire Earth before hitting its target. Pentagon's reaction: "We're very concerned." Translation: "We have no idea how to defend against this." General John Hyten, vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs, said, "This is close to a Sputnik moment." For the younger readers, Sputnik was when the Soviet Union launched the first satellite in 1957, shocking America and starting the space race. The hypersonic test is the 2021 version of Sputnik, except this time, America isn't ahead. Brose's darkest fear. What if we're already too late? In 2022, Brose gave a talk at Georgetown University. A student asked, "Can America still catch up?" Brose paused. For 10 seconds, he just stood there, silent. Then he said, "I don't know, and that terrifies me." He explained, "Catching up isn't just about technology, it's about will." China's leaders have decided that military dominance is their #1 priority. They're willing to spend trillions, spy on everyone, steal whatever they need. America's leaders, they're still debating whether climate change or infrastructure should be the priority. Meanwhile, China is building 20 warships per year. We're building 3. The student followed up, "So we've lost?" Brose's answer, "Not yet. But we're losing. And the clock is ticking." The real question: is this about technology or will? Here's what keeps Brose up at night. China has a plan. It's called the 2049 Vision. By the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic, China will be the world's dominant power. America? We don't even have a 10-year plan. China's leaders think in decades. America's politicians think in election cycles, 2 to 4 years. China invests in long-term R&D, quantum computing, AI, biotech. America argues over Twitter about culture wars. Brose's diagnosis: we're not losing because China is stronger. We're losing because they're more focused. But there's one thing. China can't steal. Innovation culture. Here's the twist. China is great at copying. They're not great at inventing. Examples: China's semiconductor industry relies on stolen designs. They still can't make advanced chips without ASML machines from the Netherlands. China's AI is powerful, but it's trained on stolen data. They don't have the open research culture of Silicon Valley. China's universities rank high, but they produce fewer breakthrough discoveries because authoritarian systems suppress creative thinking. Brose's hope. If America can fix its bureaucracy and get serious, we still have the advantage in innovation. But we're running out of time. The Taiwan clock. Everything we've discussed leads to one question. When will China invade Taiwan? Brose's analysis. Between 2025 and 2030. Why? Xi Jinping is 70 years old. He wants to reunify Taiwan before he retires or dies. China's military modernization will peak around 2027 to 2030. After that, demographics, aging population, will weaken them. America's Pacific defenses are at their weakest right now. We're still using Cold War-era strategies. In the next chapter, we'll run the simulation hour by hour of what happens when China invades Taiwan and why America loses in 48 hours.